Hey, it's Debbie, and I am going to talk about one of the elements of the holistic method today on the show, and something I have really prioritized in my own life since I got air quotes adrenal exhaustion starting in 2013, which completely changed my life and my path. And it's a finding my purpose and following that purpose is my mission today. Why I created the Holistic Method coaching program and why I became an FDN practitioner, where I can run functional lab tests to help put all the missing pieces of a puzzle together to help someone avoid going through what I went through. But also, if you're struggling with a lot of random, unexplained symptoms that no one can help you with, I dig deep and look down different rabbit holes and put your puzzle together with the functional lab tests, assessments, and everything combined. Sleep is one of the major red flags when you're having adrenal dysfunction, HPA axis dysfunction that happened to me, even though I was at the time super fit, Ironman training. I was doing all the right things, but probably too low carb, too low calorie for the volume of exercise I was doing at the time because I was racing a lot and training high level. Plus, chronic stress impacts all efforts, right? My stress was running my own fitness studio, Fitness Forward Studio in Bellevue, Washington, for 10 years, probably 5 years longer than I need to. It just caused constant stress in my world. And your beaker of stress, think your hypothalamus interprets that stress, and hypothalamus to the pituitary gland sends signal to the adrenal gland to respond that, oh, we have a lot of stress, we need to respond. We got to run from that saber-tooth tiger, lion, bear, whatever scares you, and you got to run. And that running from that lion increases your glucose. And then we lead to all sorts of problems, metabolic chaos, we say as FDN practitioners. Chronic stress accumulates or fills that beaker of stress is the purpose of my call today about how stress is one of the first things, or sleep is one of the first things you'll feel impacted, I think, when you have too much stress in your life. Sleep is a struggle. It was a huge problem for me when I started to have signs and symptoms of adrenal exhaustion. I did not sleep through the night. I was tired but wired. You'll hear the saying, tired but wired all day long. I'd have naps in the afternoon instead of my workouts that I was doing previous to adrenal fatigue, adrenal exhaustion. Middle of the night, 2 a.m., wide awake. Big, huge red flag that there's adrenal dysfunction, or HPA axis, we say dysfunction. Cortisol and melatonin are in opposition. Cortisol should be higher in the morning, wake us up and get us going. And melatonin should be lowest in the morning. Through that rhythm of the day, melatonin should be going up as the sun sets, cortisol should be coming down. While we're sleeping, cortisol should be low and then peak in the morning. That cortisol awakening response, CAR, we talk about when we do a Dutch hormone test. Cortisol, we measured saliva test 5 times, 4 times during a day is one of the tests, or you can do dried urine test as the Dutch test is. You can do both. But sleep is a big area of opportunity. What can you do to prioritize your sleep? When I'm working with clients, we identify your areas of opportunity with my intake forms. When we look at your data, we collect Aura Ring or your Whoop, or Apple Health isn't very accurate, or your Garmin watch. I use Practice Better and Training Peaks, and I can see people's data. We can also use Lumen. And when you're measuring lumen, it's measuring, are you burning fat or carbohydrates? When you wake up, that first breath test in a lumen should be fat, because while you're sleeping, if your body is not stressed out, it will be burning fat as fuel. But cortisol increases glucose, and over time, your insulin is released, you become insulin resistance from chronic stress. But while you're sleeping, that first morning fuel source breath test, a lumen should say that you're burning a 1 or a 2, which is fat on the lumen scale of 5. If you're higher, 4 or 5, when you first wake up, showing you're burning carbohydrates, that shows me something's going on while you're sleeping. Maybe we have some gut dysfunction, parasites, some type of infection. Something's going on while you're sleeping. Maybe ate close to bed, other things. What else is going on? We investigate. FDN practitioners, and I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner. I investigate what else, what could be going on, and put those missing pieces of the puzzle together. So we want to look at all that. Now, I also am a personal trainer from 30 years ago, my previous life. That's how I started in this field. I look at how people work out. I also do triathlon coaching and cycling and running coaching. Strength training is really important to look at, especially if you have a lot of stressors in your life and you're not sleeping, you're kind of in what we call metabolic chaos, all this imbalance, dysfunction. Doing more cardio is probably not the best solution for you, especially if you're struggling with this unexplained weight gain we start to have as we age or from adrenal issues. Chronic stress can result into this weird weight gain. I had 30 pounds of fat weight I gained, I swear, by doing nothing different. I just got off of doing my best Ironman season. I was doing Ironman Canada, then I did 70.3 World Championship in Vegas, and I did Ironman Hawaii. So I qualified in Ironman Canada, so you have to end up doing 2 Ironmans. 70.3 World Championship. So we race too much when we're competing at high level because you qualify for worlds and you want to do that. And then off season, you feel good. And so you're doing I was doing a lot of 50K trail running and cycling in other parts of the year, long distance fun stuff and marathons. Too much of everything. Volume endurance exercise can be raising your cortisol. So if you already have adrenal fatigue higher than optimal levels of cortisol, that progresses if you don't stop, change, and reset, course correct, continue that lifestyle, you get to have lower than optimal cortisol levels, which we call adrenal exhaustion or HP axis dysfunction along the way. But your body is in a breakdown state, catabolic. Instead of building is anabolic, catabolic breakdown. We want the right amount of hormones at DHEA to cortisol because we don't want to be in this breakdown state. So if you are struggling with this, like, why am I gaining fat weight? What's going on? I'm not doing anything. I'm working out. I'm keeping my carb intake low. I'm focused on protein and my healthy fats, but something's wrong. What else is going on? That's when we investigate, run the functional lab test. That's why I became an FDN investigator, nutritional therapy practitioner. I wanted to help clients, besides just being a personal trainer, get results because of all these different things that can impact you as a unique individual, because there is not one size fits all approach. We're all different. So we need to figure out what is off for you externally. We can work on those stressors that are going on in your life, tweak some things, but then we don't know what we don't know unless we run those functional lab tests. So it does cost money, but we can prioritize which labs. Ideally, we do them all at once so we can see what else is going on, put the missing pieces of the puzzle together, correlate all that data. And if you are tending to run a little fatigued during the day, and then you have high energy different time in the day, and you just are all out of whack, we kind of have to just backtrack. And prioritizing our sleep is where we want to start. So if you want to figure out your workout, what type of workout, duration, intensity, frequency, the lifting weights, the mobility training, the movement throughout the day is a different thing. And then there's the cardio, zone 2 or zone 4 or zone 5, and talk about that. That's where I really work with each client individually. Ideally, meet me in person. We do a fitness test, a metabolism test. I use a Pinoy kit that we measure your oxygen consumption in and your carbon dioxide out, and the ratio between the two. We look at what fuel source you're burning, what intensities, what heart rate. And then we can determine from there your 5 training zones, as well as look at, do you need to spend a lot of time or not so much time in zone 2? How much sprint training, zone 5 to zone 1, should you do? How much interval speed work do you need in zone 4 coming to zone 1 on intervals? Do you need more time doing strength training? So I can identify those imbalances and identify your area of opportunities when we run the fitness test and the resting metabolic rate, correlate that data with your blood chemistry panel. What's your inflammation markers? What does that CRP look like? Your triglycerides, your LP little a, your APOB. Look at your insulin that the doctors aren't testing, but you can order it yourself for like $10. Looking at that, food sensitivity test, a stool test, hormone test is great. We want to go into more tests. We can do macronutrients, enzymes, your amino acid profile. You can look at organic acids test. So you can spend a ton of money on doing functional lab testing, but for sure we want to get some foundations and then dive deeper if we go, okay, you've got some mold toxicity, mold illness issues. You've got high histamine. You have dysbiosis, leaky gut, which most everyone has, or do you have a parasite, H. pylori? Can you eat a lot of protein, but you're struggling digesting it? Maybe there's some H. pylori in that stomach. So let's personalize your workout program, your nutrition program, but perhaps we need to start with your sleep in order to exercise in the morning. In order to have energy to work out in the morning, we got to start with your sleep. All right, so last little tips here. Stress management throughout the day and sleep are something you might need to start with. So if I'm trying to wake up as me, I do me, you do you. I work out best in the morning for lifting weights. It gets busy during the workday. It's hard to go to the gym after work. I just don't always feel like doing something else or going outside. I like to go, say 5:15 in the morning. That's early. I'm an early bird. I go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night. So if you need to work out at the gym, say 5:30, 6 a.m., and you need to say wake up at 5, backtrack. How am I going to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep? What time do I need to go to bed so I can wake up in the morning to lift or go work out outside? I need to prioritize that sleep. So let's work what time you are best working out in the morning. What time do you need to wake up to do all your stuff to get to that workout place? What time do you need to go to bed to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep? What time do you need to start winding down so you are asleep, say by 10 p.m.? What time do you need to shut off your electronic devices, turn off the TV, get off your social media scrolling, go backwards, say 9 p.m. All right, 9 to 10, I am washing my face, I'm doing my stretching routine, brushing my teeth. I'm going to write in my journal. I'm going to write at least 3 things I'm grateful for that day, maybe set some goals and intentions for the day ahead or the week ahead, thoughts I have going on, journal. I'm going to read my book, at least 3 pages, simple goal, 3 pages, and go to sleep. My room's cold. I have a fan on, the heavy blanket. I wish I could have a chili pad, but I don't. But, figuring out your sleep cave so your room is going to give you optimal sleep. I wear an eye mask. Neil doesn't, but I like to having my eye mask on. All right, so bed by 10. You got to wind down at 9. Do all your pre-sleep stuff. Stretching really helps. Do a little yin yoga, some meditation, some breathing exercises. Falling asleep, by the way, I like to do box breathing. If I can't fall asleep, breathing in, hold, exhale, hold, breathe in. So there's different breath patterns you can do. You can check out some of the apps. You can check out some of the blogs I wrote. I send them to my clients. Here's some breathing exercises. Now, when should you stop eating? We always want to work on what you're eating, when, why, how, where. When you're trying to fall asleep at night, your body's while it's sleeping, the housekeeping service comes, right? We're going to have liver detoxification. You hear about the brain when you're sleeping, glymphatic system. So everything kind of, we get the housekeeping service coming when we're in deep sleep and getting good quality sleep. If I eat before bed really close, my body's not detoxifying, it's digesting that food. If I want to prioritize sleep, I need to stop eating a meal 3 hours before. That's kind of general guidelines. Now, if I'm hungry, I'm learning not to be so strict. If I'm kind of feel stomach grumbling, I'm actually hungry, not thinking craving food, snacky food. I might just have a little something to eat so I can stabilize and not be hungry while I'm sleeping because that'll wake me up. So, got to time your meals, know when you're actually hungry that you might need a little something, something, and then go backwards. So, no eating after 7 o'clock is something, a good goal. One of my clients, we talked years ago saying kitchen's closed after dinner. No more eating, no more grazing. You're not even hungry. If you're in the kitchen after eating, if you are hungry, you didn't eat the right type of dinner. I prefer eating dinner earlier because I take a while to digest. I'd rather spend the time in the evening after work, moving, going for a walk, being outside, working in the yard, especially summertime. So figure out what your ideal day is. Figure out what that wake schedule to sleep schedule. When is the best time of day for you to lift weights, to go for a walk, to plan your meals, to figure out when you're going to go for a walk, bike, hike, run, swim, whatever exercise. When is the best day of the week for you to do speed work? When you're doing, for women, we want to do more of that 10 to 30 seconds all out sprints, maybe 5 times of those, max 10, recovery twice as long. What is the ideal workout week for you? What is the ideal schedule just for everything? So planning Sundays, what I'm doing the week ahead, tentatively, is a great way to look at it. So when you're trying to figure out what is the best week life schedule for you, kind of write it out. Go through, write a journal, what looks best for you. I use Training Peaks with clients, figure out their workout program, but there's different ways you can do it. And let me know if you have questions, if you feel like you are struggling, no one can help you. You've seen multiple doctors as myself. Everyone says you are normal. You are just needing antidepressant, which is a bunch of BS. We need to figure out what is causing dysfunction, what is holding you back from being your best self. We want to work with free things, sleep, stress, your movement throughout the day, your digestion, your gut health, all these different things that we can do with our routine during the day, lifestyle. And then we order the labs. While we're waiting for labs, we're working on that nutrition, exercise, lifestyle habits. Get the labs, figure out what is critical that you need to work on. Maybe we have some supplements that we do for 60, 90 days, retest every 4 to 6 months, and then course correct. So reach out, debbiepotts.net. I'm here to help you avoid going through what I went through. My purpose is to make you the best version of yourself as you age. We want to strive to thrive, not struggle as we age, right? So head to debbiepotts.net and set up that free discovery call with me to learn more about my coaching packages.